has been inaugurated by the Bangladeshi Prime Minister at that time. And BIMSTEC is said to have been encouraged by, in fact, the whole idea is an outgrowth of our Look East policy. BIMSTEC as well as the Look West policy of Thailand. So it's an outgrowth of the Look East policy of India and the Look West policy of Look East policy we have seen elaborately, and a Look West policy of Thailand. And it can act as a bridge between SAARC, which I will be discussing elaborately, and ASEAN, which can act as a bridge between SAARC and ASEAN. And in fact, BIMSTEC has identified 14 priority areas. I have mentioned many of them here, technological and economic cooperation in commerce, investment, technology, tourism, HRD, agriculture, etc. And out of which transport and communication, India is given the lead role in transport and communication. Then tourism, transport and communication, tourism. Then counter-terrorism. So a couple of points. Counter-terrorism. India is taking the lead. Counter-terrorism. Counter-terrorism. Then environment and disaster management. These are the areas in which India is taking the lead role. And if you look at the summits now, and these are the objectives, and now we have, I said, it will act as a bridge between SAARC and ASEAN, and it is a outgrowth of Look East policy and Look West policy. Yes, 4 summits have already been held. BRICS. The first summit was held in 2004. It was in Thailand. The first summit in Bangkok. First summit was held in Bangkok. In 2008, we held it in New Delhi. Then in 2000 the third BIMSTEC summit was held in 2014 in Naypyidaw. That is the capital of Myanmar right now. And in 2018, the summit was held at Kathmandu. So, 4 times we have held the summit meeting. It is supposed to be there almost on every year, but now we have conducted only 4 summits since the formation in 1997, and now it's 2020. So you can imagine 23 years and only 4 summits. That itself tells that something is missing. So we have just not many summit meetings have been held. It should have been a regular meeting. So anyway, now coming to significance. Now what are the significance of this kind of an organization, which I have already mentioned a bit. First of all, then this will definitely help in booming, or rather first is increasing trade and commerce. Increase trade and commerce. It will help in increasing trade and commerce, and it can act as an alternative to, it is bridged between SAARC and ASEAN, an alternative or a bridge between SAARC and ASEAN. That is number 1. Number 2, it is it is focusing on the non-tariff barriers, because big problem, you may reduce the tariff, but if the non-tariff barriers are very high, ultimately the trade will not take place. So the focus is on non-tariff barriers, how to reduce it so that we can increase the commerce between them. And this will definitely help in institutionalizing various trade pacts, or rather we can increase the trade. That is the idea behind the whole thing. And so this can also be, because many of these countries are also afraid of, or rather not so comfortable with the kind of globalization which is going on right now. And these regional trading arrangements or agreements will definitely can handle the negative effects of globalization which is going on right now. And this will also help in the South-South cooperation. It will increase our cooperation between the developing countries. It will enhance the South-South cooperation. And also, in another big point about this BIMSTEC is, now SAARC is a prisoner of Indo-Pak rivalry. So there is no Pakistan in BIMSTEC, no Pakistan in BIMSTEC. So there is a less political problem, so the chances of cooperation is high. No Pakistan, the chances of cooperation is high. So definitely, it can have it has a better chance to succeed. That's what we are saying. And but BIMSTEC is strategically very significant to all of us, especially for India. BIMSTEC is strategically very significant because this is also the country where China is trying its level best to increase its influence, be it Sri Lanka, be it Nepal. Bhutan can be an exception, but otherwise in Myanmar, in Thailand, everywhere Chinese influence is very predominant and Chinese investments are very high. All these countries are part of that Belt and Road Initiative also. So naturally, an improved relationship in this region will definitely help India in checkmating or countering, because already China has a big role here, countering China if BIMSTEC succeeds. Okay, definitely. And also the trade route which is passing through from the Malacca Strait through the Bay of Bengal into in the entire Indian Ocean. In fact, if you look at this, you can see that the trade route, you see from the Malacca Strait when it enters just south of Bay of Bengal, it is traveling all along to the Gulf of Aden and other parts of Africa. So this is a very important area and China has great interest, and almost 25% of the trade happens through this region, the global trade. So it passes through this region. So there is great significance for this region, and India is playing the right game to ensure that we have enough hold over this land or all this area. So that is how this idea behind BIMSTEC has emerged in 1997, and 4 summits have been held. Now coming to the working till now, so these are the significance of this. Now let me talk about, and let's just come to an analysis of this. Is it actually working? But the fact of the matter is, even though there is huge potential, but unfortunately the success is very limited. There is no big success in this BIMSTEC as an organization. We were talking about a free trade agreement right from the beginning, and even today we are not able to move forward in the free trade agreement. Free trade agreement is a non-starter. In fact, right from 2004 summit, the first focus was every time when the summit meetings are held, they reiterate and say that free trade agreement is a must, we will move forward. But because of the inherent weaknesses, India is the lead country here, and unfortunately we are not able to push forward. We ourselves are not very confident and comfortable in free trade agreement, so the trade and cooperation is not happening. And number 3 point is the natural connectivity is missing. Natural connectivity is missing. Even today, I already said, see, the interconnectivity from northeast India to Myanmar, for example, we are talking about a trilateral highway not happening, lot of roadblocks. Kaladan project, multi-mode transport project yet to happen. So there is no natural connectivity. There is huge roadblocks here. The terrain is such that, and even the Myanmar like countries are comparatively poor. Northeast is comparatively poor. So no major infrastructure. So there is no natural link. Natural connectivity is missing. Road connectivity is missing. Then one more point is, China is not keeping quiet. China is playing its own game. It's playing very effectively. They are investing heavily in China, in Nepal. They are investing heavily in Sri Lanka. China has offered almost $26 billion investment in Bangladesh. Myanmar, they were investing right from the beginning. So they are playing their game very beautifully, and many of these countries are not able to discard and in a completely overlook the Chinese investment in the region. So naturally, in any game or any game where India versus China comes, China has an upper hand because of their money power. So naturally, these countries are not very comfortable in giving up the Chinese offers. So naturally, this is putting a roadblock in improving the BIMSTEC as an organization. And one more point I would like to add is, out of the 7 countries, the big fellows are India and Thailand. So unless India and Thailand takes that active leadership, If we don't, unless we push forward this BIMSTEC as an institution may not move forward in a big way. In fact, India is trying, no doubt. For example, we conducted in 2016, India in the BRICS summit, in 2016 BRICS summit, India conducted a BRICS BIMSTEC outreach summit. BIMSTEC outreach summit in Goa, because the BRICS summit was held in Goa. So we conducted a BRICS BIMSTEC outreach summit was held to boost BIMSTEC as well as to promote this BIMSTEC as an idea. Then in 2019, when Prime Minister Modi came back to power for the second time, he invited the BIMSTEC leaders for the swearing in ceremony. For the swearing in ceremony, the BIMSTEC leaders were invited by Modi. In fact, in 2014, he invited the SAARC leaders, now BIMSTEC. So he is trying to push, but there are various inherent limitations because of which BIMSTEC has not progressed the way we expected, or rather the way we wanted. In 2004, when the first summit was held, a lot of expectations were there. Prime Minister Manmohan Singh at that time participated, and he immediately after taking over as the Prime Minister at that time in 2004, he participated, and it was in a big fanfare, and people talked about BIMSTEC will replace SAARC, and this is a bridge and this and that, but nothing happened in the last 16 years. Things are not moving forward. India is not able to push forward, and even we are not able to, the issue is even China. China is also playing its game equally well, and they are not going to give up that easily. So because of that issue, the BIMSTEC as an institution has not moved beyond a point. So on the whole, it's a good idea, but there are various roadblocks, and if at all it has to move forward, India and Thailand, India especially will have to take the lead role, and we have to promote that Gujarat doctrine in BIMSTEC also, then only things will move forward in a big way. Otherwise, the success is very limited in BIMSTEC. In another video, I will be talking, can BIMSTEC be a substitute, or can BIMSTEC replace SAARC? In SAARC things are not moving, so can India bet on BIMSTEC? That will be discussed in another video, not in this particular one. So in this particular one, the final conclusion from my side is BIMSTEC has not moved forward the way it should have been. We failed to make it as a vibrant organization till now.